I'll allow.
Yep. So it's recording now.
Okay. So you're listening to Radio Shields Northeast, and I've got a fantastic guest this evening, coming from literally the other side of the planet. Suzanne Ingleton is live with us today. She is she's coming live from Australia. Welcome to the show, Suzanne. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me, Amanda. It is really exciting. It's amazing technology. We can speak to each other from the other side of the world, and yeah, I'm actually I feel very privileged to be on your show. It's amazing. I've known you for a little while, and your success just sounds absolutely fantastic. So yes, I feel very privileged to be here.
So we met because I was looking for training to become a meditation leader, and I'd looked at lots and lots of quite good, comprehensive online courses, and I'd looked at some in-house training as well in lots of different locations, and the kind of the quality, the standard of the training really varied from really not very good at all to like really scientific and possibly or very, very spiritual and way over my head. I wanted to use meditation as a tool to really help people, but I wanted to make sure that that help was something that they could actually understand, something that they could apply to their lives, and something that was really safe for them to be doing as well. Because as a clinical hypnotherapist, I know that sometimes when we're working with the mind, we just need to make sure that people are really nurtured and well looked after. And I really struggled to find a decent accredited course that was UK based. But you guys in Australia seem to be like years ahead of us in terms of yoga, meditation, and mindfulness. I don't know if you've been kind of doing it a lot longer, or with you Aussies being kind of quite adventurous souls, adventurous spirits, that you just seem to be a little bit ahead of us. So I did my meditation leaders training with Skillful Mind, which if you are looking to train as a meditation leader, definitely check them out. The training is amazing. The ongoing support is fantastic. And Suzanne and I have become really good friends. The friendships that we've made literally across the globe, isn't it? Skillful Mind is across the world.
All over the world, yeah. UK, America, I think in France, everywhere. Yeah, all over.
Canada, Spain.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. And the idea really of Skillful Mind is that we can set up meditation gatherings, get-togethers, meetings in every community throughout the globe. And what an amazing Peter Radcliffe, what an amazing inspirational guy who just has such a passion for sharing meditation with everybody, because it has so many benefits. And I know we've spoken quite a lot about meditation, and meditation's been a huge part of your journey. Suzanne is an inner calm coach, and she's been through quite a transformation herself, and now she is empowering women and men to help to improve their health. And she really focuses on one of the most important aspects really of health. I mean, if we look at the statistics now in our country, it used to be that smoking was the top killer. Now it's obesity. So she helps people, empowers people to change their shape and their size, to reduce their weight, and to feel, well, fantastic. So thank you, Suzanne, for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your journey. Where did it all start?
Yes, my journey started 12 years ago. Just going prior to 12 years, I was working for a telecommunications company as a personal assistant, very busy, single mum. And
very different.
Yeah, very different. Very different. And I second marriage, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And this was after a round of IVF and traveling overseas for, to get a donor egg. And so it was a very traumatic time, stressful time in my life.
I mean, if anyone has ever been through the IVF route, it's incredibly stressful. It puts a massive amount of pressure on you, on your partner, on your sex life, on your romantic life. It's huge, isn't it? The pressure of just going through that, but in combination with a serious illness and massive job changes and life changes. Whew, that was a lot to go through.
Yes, yeah, it was pretty big. It was the catalyst that changed my life. And it really, when I walked out of the radiotherapy treatment room for the last time, because, when you're going through radiotherapy, it's a daily ordeal. And so the very last day I walked out, and I just had pounding in my mind, I have to give back, I have to give back. And I didn't even know what that meant really, but what was behind that is that I'd never experienced so much kindness and so much caring from complete strangers in the cancer ward. And just to see people and, coming from various levels of degrees of, how far the cancer had progressed for them was just, I can't really even put it into words. It was just horrible. But to have people in there, I know that was their job, the nurses, the staff, but they were just so compassionate and caring. They were just completely, I'd never experienced it before. And so I just wanted to help them in some way. I didn't know if I was clear of cancer. That didn't really enter into it. I just wanted to be able to give back. And so when I moved to, my then husband was transferred to another state, and so of course I followed. And the oncologist there at the time said to me, in order for you to truly survive this, you need to be fit and healthy. And so I had an opportunity to restart my life. I'd finished the treatment, everything seemed to have gone okay. So I took his words literally, and I became a personal trainer. So I was working with men and women to help them to be fitter and healthier versions of themselves. So that's what happened. The catalyst for change for me moving into the health and wellness industry was thriving, not being a survivor, but being a thriver through cancer. And I actually I forgave cancer. I read an amazing book by Lance Armstrong called "It's Not About the Bike." And in that book, he made friends with cancer because, of course, he had a very serious form of cancer when he was one of the fittest men in the world, and he recovered. But part of his transformation and his treatment and his journey was to forgive cancer. Instead of fighting it, he was friends with it. And so
forgiveness is such a powerful, such a phenomenally powerful thing when we're angry with people, when we're hurt with other people. That kind of, it's like a festering wound that we carry with us, isn't it?
It is.
And but to forgive cancer, whoo, what a concept. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I learnt so much. I wouldn't be where I am today without that experience. And I mean, moving further down the track, that the marriage became. I was a victim of domestic violence, later on down the track, and I have to say I was a victim, and I didn't realise that at the time. And it wasn't until after, I was able to get to be free of that I realised that yes, I had been a victim and I had allowed it to happen and all sorts of things. But I had strength from being, getting through cancer and learning something from that. And and forgiving that. So therefore I had to, it was hard, but I did. And when I did, I felt so much freer. I forgave him for everything, you know, that I went through. And we have to do this, because if we hold on to all this stuff, and this is what I've learned, you know, from those two experiences, and moving forwards, you know, with meditation, and I'm now a Reiki master and teacher, that if we hold on to these things, and as you would know, you know, with any mind state, it creates dis-ease within our body. And if we let it settle, and if we carry it, it's just the straight fight or flight stress response. It causes disease within our body. So dis-ease creates disease. And so, you know, learning to forgive, well, forgiving and then learning from these two major experiences in my life, they transformed me. I'm just not who I was back then, and thank goodness. And I'm grateful for all the things that I've learned and come through. So I feel much more empowered and enabled to help other people, other women who have gone through, you know, similar experiences. I can say, yes, I've walked in your shoes in a different degree. You know, no one can say I know how you feel, really, but I have an idea, and so I've gathered all this life experience, and the domestic violence led me to Reiki, but I didn't actually know what Reiki was. It was just a beautiful, sweet girl wanted to swap. She said, I want personal training sessions, but I can't pay for them, but I'll teach you Reiki. And I went, okay, that's good, but I didn't know what it was.
Amazing. It's
So,
amazing how a lot of us have started with Reiki as well.
yeah,
It seems to have been, we've discovered Reiki, then we discovered energy medicine, and then that led us to
yeah,
become quite mindful in how we live. So, really interesting what you were saying about forgiveness, though. I mean, I haven't been a victim of domestic abuse, but I commend you for finding the strength to forgive. But I really see the importance of that as well. You know, for a lot of us, and when we've been through, you know, even if we've just had a bad day and somebody said something bad to us and it's made us feel horrible or angry, quite often we get to the end of our day and we remember that, we relive it. We relive that experience. And I remember I used to do this quite a lot myself. So, but I was really good at this, reliving those negative experiences. And I used to almost like play the video in my mind of that negative thing that had happened. Say somebody said something to me that upset me. I would play that moment again and again and again. But the words that were the cruelest, the words that were the nastiest, the bit that was the most painful to me, my kind of camera in lens, if you like, in my mind would zoom in and turn the volume up on those really hard words, on those really hard bits. And you know, I would forget all of the nice things that that person had done during that day. And I would really focus on the painful words, the painful sounds that I heard, you know. And I would relive it and relive it and relive it and relive it and relive it. And then it would, you know, the next day I would see that person, I'd be like, I don't like you.
yeah,
And learning to forgive, learning to see things from a different perspective, and learning to, you know, accept that we're all humans and we make mistakes and errors, and let that go.
yeah.
Wow, it's so freeing, is forgiveness, and it frees you. How the heck did you forgive somebody who had done such dreadful, violent things? How did you do that?
I suppose I had to think of it. I couldn't let him bring his presence or be within me, you know, with those loopy thoughts, because he was happily living his life, and, you know, had a lovely life and all sorts of wonderful experiences. But I was choosing to allow that experience to eat me up and tear me up inside. And it was absolutely no value to me to feel fear, because, you know, if he did happen to ring, I would have fear in my gut and fear. It took me a
Yeah.
long time. I have to say it took me longer to forgive him than it did to forgive the cancer. Um, but
Yeah.
I just couldn't live with fear, and and um, I think I've just put to bed all those horrible words, and I
Mm.
probably don't need to go into or into
Yeah. Well,
detail.
it's about sort of letting that thought live in your head, isn't it? Like,
Mm,
give that negative thought. I read somewhere a
mm,
rent-free space in your head,
mm,
and
mm.
we don't want those negative thoughts living in our minds anymore. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you processed that and forgave it.
Yeah,
Wow,
I did. I
amazing.
processed it, and I just thought, well, there's no point. And I did lots of inner work, and I have to say, being Reiki trained, Reiki was also just a complete goodness. I was never spiritually minded. I had been to church, but I didn't I didn't have any sort of spiritual beliefs or anything. And but Reiki really just put me on a path. Everything was brighter and
Mm,
more positive. It helped me. It helped to heal me from the inside. And I have to say, a lot of opportunities came my way that would never have come my way, and it helped me to soften my mind and to open it and think differently about life. And
mm.
that
I mean,
there
I really believe that Reiki helps connect you with your divine purpose, your divine calling, or your dharma, if you
yeah.
like. But for those who are listening who've never heard of Reiki or don't really know what is Reiki?
Yeah, Reiki is an energy healing. It's a essentially it's a Japanese technique. Although there's energy healing um, in every indigenous culture in the world today. There's always been energy healing. Reiki is just a form of energy healing, and it puts your body, to talk about it as an experience, it puts your body into a profound state of relaxation, which allows our body's natural healing process to be enhanced. So our bodies are designed to heal themselves. When we cut our finger, if we get a blister or a cut, what happens? We get a scab, and it heals itself. So our body, when it is in homeostasis and perfect balance, it is designed to heal itself. But we have all these
Mm,
external things, what we ingest, what's around us, our mental state. All of these things can, slow that down and inhibit, the best chance that our body has. So Reiki works on energy and vibration. We are all, in quantum physics, we're all just a bunch of vibrating particles. Reiki is comes universal life force energy, the energy of life, the energy that makes plants grow. We are energy and we are matter. So it works on balancing our own energy and allows
amazing.
us to heal, basically.
Mm,
But it also has a very it can have a very spiritual connotation, but it doesn't have to. And
mm.
Reiki is just almost becoming mainstream, which is amazing. It's being used in hospitals all over the world.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's available on our NHS as well now,
yeah,
which is really
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, fantastic. And it's just so amazing that this complementary therapy is now being accepted and used by very prominent surgeons and medicos and people all over the world. And the fact that anyone can do it, and that's why I love teaching it. And because I was just a girl that used to run around in the park and train people to lift weights, you know, and but I was able to feel the benefit of it quite profoundly. I had, I didn't have any qualifications, and for that reason alone, that's why I wanted to be able to teach other people how to use or harness the energy of life to help heal themselves and then to help heal others. So it's a hands-on healing.
Mm.
Basically, the energy comes through the palms of your hands, and you put your hands on people, and yeah, it's very amazing, and it works on the level of mind, body, and soul. So it, and it has its own intelligence, and it will decide, where what is the highest priority in terms of healing. So each healing will be completely different. But in the healing, we as the practitioner, the healing comes through us as well as being channeled into, to the patient. It doesn't come from us; it comes from the universe. So yeah,
Amazing.
it's pretty
And it
amazing.
had learning it and experiencing it for you. I mean, it's transformation month, and it transformed you.
Absolutely.
Helped you forgive. It helped you heal.
Yes.
It had a massive impact on your life.
Yes.
And I hear this same story or similar stories whenever I speak to people who've connected with Reiki, be it through a healing session that they've received or through training, becoming a Reiki practitioner or a Reiki master as well. So yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful healing modality, and it clearly opened up so many more doors for you to do that thing that you were talking about, to give back and to start helping and training people. Was it at that point then that you got into the meditation, or was that something that you'd always done?
No, it was, part of the foundational practice of Reiki is meditating, but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware of it in that context when I was learning Reiki. So I did feel that there was some connection between Reiki and meditation. So I just decided to explore that off my own back, probably 2 years after I learnt Reiki. And then that was another profound shift, I suppose, in really understanding how meditation can affect the state of your mind, which is completely connected to your body, and the effects of stress, and how we have this onboard inbuilt antidote to stress, which is just our breath. And it's just so
Amazing.
simple and so easy. And it doesn't have to be complicated, and you don't have to sit cross-legged going on for 30 minutes
No.
or an hour a day. But 3 to 5 minutes a day is enough
Mm.
consistently to make immediate changes in your body, in your brain. So
Mm.
our brain, the science of neuroplasticity, our brain is just, metaphorically, a big lump of plasticine. We can change it. And
Yes.
and meditation can change it, and there's solid scientific evidence, to show the benefits of meditating, and it's something that we all can do, and it is the antidote to stress, the absolute antidote to stress that we can all
Mm.
implement for ourselves. So
I was reading the other day that there's now absolutely 100% solid scientific evidence that meditation helps the bit parts of the brain that are to do with connecting with each other, communicating with each other, and that part that helps us to communicate with ourselves so we understand ourselves more. That part of the brain actually grows and develops as a result of meditation, because they're actually looking at how meditation impacts the different parts of the brain now, because they're so amazed at how fantastic it is and how effective it is. It's really exciting when science meets spirituality, if you
that's
like,
right. Yes.
and they agree. Hurrah! It's
Yes.
amazing. It's so
Yes.
exciting.
Yes, that's right. So yeah, so it develops the hippocampus, the frontal cortex here. It actually gets denser and heavier, and it decreases the amygdala back, behind. This is their fight or flight center. So
Mm-hmm.
they can absolutely measure these changes, these positive changes. So when this is, our head's not going to grow bigger, but the brain mass, the density of it allows us to think clearer. And we just have this sense of clarity, and we're able to control our thoughts. And I suppose this also helped for me to be able to control all the those negative looping thoughts that you were talking about before. Just reliving a nightmare, it just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely serves no purpose. It makes people sick. It's self-inducing the fight or flight, the stress response, and that's just doing all sorts of damaging things to our bodies. And when we can learn to control our thought processes, that's when once again becoming our own inbuilt healers, we can have control, and we can just say stop, and we can stop those thoughts and change. We have choice, and we can improve the muscle of our mind, and then make those changes and have control. So I learnt meditation, and that was just another turning point, and I learnt about the power of the mind. And I was using Reiki and meditation together. I was no longer a personal trainer at this point. I'd come back into mainstream, working in an insurance office, and so I was back sitting in an office after running around in the park, which was a bit of a letdown. But from there, I have recently learnt neuro-linguistic programming, the language of the mind, and timeline therapy, and hypnotherapy, hypnotherapy. And these are all, once again, tools to be able to strengthen your mind and learn more, and just get rid of limiting self-beliefs and old negative emotions, that our old emotional baggage that just really doesn't serve us at all. And so all of these things combined have now led me to transform all the things that I've learnt along the way to my now business, which is called Your Inner Calm Coach. And I love helping women to change their relationship with food. And I suppose, coming from a personal training background, I was, a lot of my clients came to me for weight loss, and they would eat all the right things, they'd exercise, but their weight loss really wasn't shifting. And it did for a short amount of time, but it wasn't really huge. And it didn't stay. So I might have had women that would lose 10 kilos, and I have them standing there with 10-kilo medicine balls, and yes, yay, but a few months later they just put it all back on, and I could never work that out. And it wasn't until, it's really only since I've learnt the language of the mind and the importance of how powerful our mind is, and how stress just totally controls us if we let it, and how detrimental it can be, that I realised that it's our mind, that it's women's minds, or people's minds, men and women. It's the stress response here, and the negative self-talk, which just shuts down the digestive system, the process, the metabolism, and stops the mind-gut connection from working as it should. And this has been I suppose, another turning point. And I've developed a program where we work with neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, Reiki. I've packaged it all up, and I'm just getting such great results, and they're lasting results. And yes. It turns out that the weight loss it just
because the mind has been changed, the brain has been changed.
That's
you're not the person you were. No. There's been a physical change in the brain, and there's been a change in your relationship with food, isn't it? That's what your work does.
Yes.
It transforms. It transforms physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Yes.
So that you literally do just become a new person with a whole new relationship with food.
Yes, it's a mind, body, soul. It's a mind, body, soul transformation, and it's so profound. And the weight loss comes off as almost as an after effect, because the work that we do, the weight loss becomes secondary. The work that we do is around the emotions and lifting those emotions, and it makes so many. It's accountable for so many other changes in their lives, changes in their work relationships, changes in their body image relationship, changes in their relationships they have with their family and their spouse. And it's really quite huge. It's not just about the weight. And
It's not even really all about the food or all
no,
about the exercise either, is it? We
no,
do get obsessed with reducing and changing and adding things in, and this diet and that diet and
yeah,
the next,
no, right,
and those things can actually become quite damaging to ourselves, because we try really hard, and because we're trying so hard, when it doesn't work, we feel dreadful, and
yeah,
then we punish ourselves, and that
mm,
punishment can often be in the form of comfort eating.
that's
You
right.
know, we failed at a diet, so I'm going to eat 3 massive bars of chocolate. You know,
Yeah,
I remember doing that myself. I've
yes,
for years had issues with my relationship with food, and
yeah.
it's something that I've worked on.
Yeah, and what you're saying about exercise, and as a trainer, I thought, oh, you had to, eat less and eat and exercise more. But if you are doing exercise that you don't enjoy and you think you have to do it, you're immediately putting your body into stress response. You're creating the hormones, the cortisol and the adrenaline, and you're spiking your insulin levels. You're preventing yourself from building muscle, and you're automatically going into stress response. So finding movement that is that you enjoy, that's gentle but moving. It could just be walking, it could be gentle yoga, whatever you enjoy.
I like dancing.
Dancing, exactly.
I dance all over the house. I dance in the bathroom. I dance in the kitchen.
Yeah,
My living room is a dance floor.
yeah, fantastic.
I love
Yeah,
dancing,
yeah,
and I find that really joyful and uplifting as well.
that's right.
So
Yes.
I do a lot of dancing.
That is great. And look,
Great.
movement is movement, and functional movement is even better. That's just moving your body as it's supposed to move. So it's really important to do those things. And um, the other thing that puts your body into immediate stress response is eating fast. So if you are eating fast,
Ah.
you're immediately, starting the stress, because your body's going, oh, why are we eating fast? There must be something going to chase us and eat us. And so therefore we're going to go into stress, and we're going to shut down the digestive system. All the blood goes out to, the extremities, and your metabolism just doesn't work. So what I'm learning is that there's, whatever our food issue is, whatever the emotional, whether it's binge eating, whether it's secret eating, whether it's comfort eating, that is actually here to teach us something. What is it teaching you? If you're eating too quickly, why are you eating so quickly? Have you got too much going on? Are you, are you trying to fit too much into your life? If you're comfort eating, why are you comfort eating? That comfort eating isn't bad. It's the normal part of our life as babies. As parents or as a baby, we're given food to comfort us, and that it's okay to comfort eat. But there's been a shift or a change somewhere down the track that has created you to want to comfort eat out of context. So therefore,
Yeah, for me it was a comfort binge more than a comfort eat.
yeah,
I used to get those family size bags of chocolate buttons, and peanut M&Ms were a huge thing for me. I literally ate a bag of them a day, and I remember joking because I ate them for comfort, but I also ate them in secret. But the craziness about my secret eating was that I lived alone.
yeah,
So I could have pretty much chosen any room in the house to have eaten those things and nobody would have known. But I
no,
chose to keep them hidden in my bedside cabinet,
yeah,
and I ate them kind of under my duvet at night time. It was so unhealthy, but
yeah,
that was my reality for a long time before I worked with somebody like yourself, and realised that, why was I doing this? Where was this coming
yes,
from? And I really
yeah,
looked at it and worked it out,
mm,
and let that go, let it disappear from my life. And
yeah,
it's not. I don't even like peanut M&Ms anymore. I can't even eat them. They're horrible things.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
eating In England, you get these massive bags and they've got tear and share written on them. And
Uh,
I used to tear and think, but I'm not sharing.
yeah.
These are all for me.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of the people I speak to
Mm.
will get a craving that's so overwhelming that they'll jump in the car at midnight and
Mm.
drive to the local petrol station
Yeah.
and to pick up a bar of chocolate, a bag of chocolate buttons, a bag of peanut M&Ms, whatever it is that
Yeah.
they're craving. They'll get it at any
Yeah.
time of the day. When that craving takes a hold, it
Yes.
feels incredibly overwhelming.
It's like
And
smoking. Mm.
yeah, it's an addiction.
Mm.
And, you know, as soon as we really understand ourselves, as soon as
Mm.
you do that work that you really help to facilitate and
Mm.
see where that's coming from,
Mm.
just having that understanding, it brings that thing that was unconscious, that knowledge that was hidden, it
Yeah.
brings it up to the conscious, and then you can do something about it.
That's right. Awareness
And
is
that's where yeah, that awareness, and that's where your skills and
mm.
what you do really come in to play, because it really teaches people, well, now I know I do this, now I know the reason why,
Yeah.
what can I do about it? And
Right.
that's where you step in with your powerful tools.
Yeah.
What are the techniques, what are the tools that you use when you talk about timeline technique? What is that? What is NLP? How is that going to help me if I'm in that situation?
Yeah, sure. So there's some really nifty there is a very nifty NLP technique that I use, which is about the language of the mind, working with the mind, and being very specific about, you know, what we talk to events or problems. We give them a label as a problem or an event, and as the therapist, I need to understand what their problem is, you know, in terms of eating. So there's a lot of questioning, but the questions are designed to loosen up the problem for them. So getting them to think about, you know, what they're experiencing, rather than just, oh, I overeat or I need to lose weight. What is it behind all of that, so that they can
Mm.
understand and listen to their subconscious mind. So the way that we ask the questions is that they can bring up an answer, and there's many times it's like a, oh really, yeah, I hadn't thought about that I hadn't thought about it that way before, or, you know, it just loosens the problem for them, and helps them to look at it from a different angle, and to reaffirm why they want to, you know, what result that they want to gain. So very much it's about understanding, you know, their own thoughts behind it. But the nifty technique that I use is it's about getting rid of their biggest craving. So essentially, it's called like to dislike. So something that they like, but they'd rather dislike, i.e., M&Ms or chocolate or whatever it is. So within 5 minutes, I can actually just get rid of that craving, gone forever, and it
Wow.
works 100% of the time. And it just really helps people to get confidence that, okay, well, that bag of
Wow.
M&Ms is gone now. I don't even want them. They can walk past the supermarket aisle and just not look that way. It's
Yeah.
so effective, and it's just working with the mind, working with the language of the mind. It's a very quick, easy technique. And so, you know, we whittle down all the big things. It might be cakes, pasties, you know, soda. Could be anything. So therefore they've got confidence. Oh well, I don't want chocolate anymore. I feel better. So we also then I work on food and movement coaching, just to get them to move more. And I do, you know, look at you know, what they're eating, and suggest that they start to remove sugar and processed flour, processed sugar, which inhibits a hormone in your body called leptin. And leptin is the hormone that tells us that, you know, we're full and it's time to move. So if we eat too much processed stuff, we're not going to feel full, and we feel sluggish, which is obviously not a very good recipe for, you know, to lose weight. So it's a bit of education in that regard. But the most profound is dealing with the emotions, which is the timeline therapy. And we have 5 major emotions: anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt. And in the context of food, we go back to find the first event, the first time that we felt angry around food. And for some people, it's not so big, and it might be anger around something else that has created or caused an emotional reaction that has carried over from an event from the ages of 0 to 7. They are formative years where we're pretty much like little recorders. We just take in everything that's happened, but we have no filter. We don't understand right from wrong. So we just take everything in at that age. So that in that time frame, you know, something might have occurred the very first time that we felt angry. And as you know, it could be as a small baby, perhaps, you know, our nappy didn't get changed, who knows what it was, but there's a very first time to experience any emotion. But the mind, moving down the track in our life, the mind will want to find a similar event to, you know, to anger, if you're experiencing anger. So we end up accumulating this anger right throughout our life, and it starts to weigh heavy in our body. It doesn't serve us. It's like it's the old emotional baggage. And we need to have these emotions in our life because they're there to preserve and protect us. We don't need to be carrying old anger or old sadness or old fear, old hurt, old guilt. We do need to have, you know, we do need to have those emotions moving forwards. But all of these emotions generally are packaged up into whatever the comfort eating, the binge eating, the you know, however they're feeling about food, their negative emotions about food, because they are all negative emotions. And so we cleared all these negative emotions one by one, and the result is people just feel so much lighter. They're released from any old feelings about, you know, about food. And more often than not, they're not consciously aware of what's happened, you know, back then. It's the unconscious mind that is, we're able to work with the unconscious mind, and it can take them back to the very first event, and we basically just dissolve the emotions. It's very quick, it's very easy, relatively painless. There's no talking about it. The client can, you know, just process all of this stuff internally. They don't have to tell me what it is, and oftentimes they don't even know what's gone on. They just have this feeling that you know, there's something that's needed to be shifted at that stage. And then moving on the track, they'll have a conscious awareness of an event that, you know, there is some heavy emotion and they do want to release that. And we take the learnings, we take the positive learnings from these experiences, and bringing these positive learnings through helps them to let go of the old stuff. So we're just letting go of the old emotion, and yeah, just that emotional baggage that really prevents people from moving forwards and sits in their body, and really, you know, it is the precursor to disease, because that's the stress that we're wanting to release and remove. So therefore people become happier and lighter, and we get rid of their cravings. I work with hypnosis as well, so we bring in hypnosis around food and around movement, and all you know, there's a hypnosis technique called the clearance, and we just get rid of any other stuff that's, you know, hanging around. And by the end of it, and then we put a goal in their future right at the end. And so by the end of it, the weight is just starting to drop off. They're not even, they're not snacking, they're not concerned about, you know, chocolate or bread or whatever it is that they used to be their go-to. It just all disappears, and they've got a completely fresh start, clean slate to start moving forwards. And so,
I mean, what I love about your program is that the result is that at the end of it, you can enjoy food again. You know, you enjoy the flavors, you enjoy the colors, you enjoy the comfort aspect of eating. without it being destructive or damaging to you. It connects you with the joy of movement,
Yeah,
and it just gets rid of all that negative baggage,
that's
all
it.
that stuff that we carry around that causes us to respond negatively. It's incredible, you know, from the mind perspective, but then you bring to it that understanding of the body as well. And your program, the one that you've got running right now, is called the 5 in 4. Tell
Yeah.
us about the 5 in 4.
Yep, so I actually run two 5 in 4 programs. So the 5 in 4 program where we use timeline therapy is that's a 5-week program, and we do that face to face. So I see people once a week. And 5 in 4, lose 5 kilos in 4 weeks, and it is possible to do this. And I've had clients that have lost even more than 5 kilos in the 4 weeks. So it's a really
Amazing.
good Kickstarter. And
And we can do that. We can do that online as well, can't we? That's an
yeah,
online program. So anywhere in the world, because we have listeners in America, we have listeners in
yeah,
Spain, as well as here in sunny South Shields. But if we want to do this program with you, we can connect with you, and we can do it online. We can do it from home. So
yeah.
it's really accessible, isn't it?
Yeah, so I do have the 5-week one, which uses the timeline therapy, but I have an equally successful program that doesn't use timeline therapy, because I do need to be watching you face to face, but we can still do this as we're doing now. I can still work with people on the other side of the world. It's just a timing issue, really.
Yeah.
There is a completely online program, so it's self-paced. That's a 4-week program, and I'm still getting the same results. So people are
Amazing.
still losing, up to 5 kilos, 22 centimeters from around their body, like that.
Wow.
22 centimeters is like, I don't know, that this much. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and just the confidence, the levels
It's a
of
school
confidence.
ruler size, isn't it? 22 centimeters.
Yeah,
A school ruler.
yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah. It is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It is. So
Amazing.
and it's sustainable, and I think that's the biggest thing, that but as you said, food becomes a choice. It's a choice of whether I have it or not. There's not a mental
Mm,
mind battle, and there's not constant
mm,
guilt and negative thoughts around food.
mm,
Food is meant to be enjoyed. We are supposed to eat food and enjoy it, and we should have an emotional connection to food. It should be joy and love, but we also need to have this joyful and loving connection to ourselves, and that's also
yes.
part of the program, is learning to love yourself. And another thing that I didn't say is we work out a happy tracker for each of the clients. So it's pretty much just a tracking sheet of all the things that makes them happy to bring into their day. So they're looking at their aspects of self-care and
Mm.
developing healthy, happy habits that make them feel good. And so
Oh
then
my
that
goodness.
once again helps to have this food thing sustainable, and it's just
Amazing.
like that food
It's
is
life transforming, isn't it? It really is.
yeah, it is. Yes, it's
Suzanne, you are an absolute inspiration. I couldn't have asked for a better guest to come on and talk in Transformation Month. I mean, your program is about transforming how you look, how you feel. It's about letting go of those old behaviors, those old programs, if you like, and
yeah,
it's about reconnecting joyfully with movement and with
yeah.
food in such a positive way. I know so many people who including me, who would benefit from your program. How do we find you?
Yep, so I'm going to give you a link, and I assume you'll be able to post it down the bottom. But my business is called Your Inner Calm Coach, and that's a Facebook group, Facebook page, and essentially you can connect with me there, and I'll get
Brilliant.
back to you, whichever way, modality.
So I'll share that on our Radio Shields Facebook page,
I think
and bob it in the podcast as well. So it's Your Inner Calm Coach, and it's on Facebook.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your amazing story of personal transformation and just the fantastic work and this amazing program that you have put together. It's great to have you on. It's great to talk to you. I always love chatting to you anyway, but it's just so lovely to be able to share with people who need to hear this, the amazing work that you do. Thank you so much for coming on today.
I know. Thanks so much for having me. It's very exciting, and I'm very excited for you and you know, all the listeners out there. They've got an amazing person to listen to, and you've just got so much wisdom and knowledge, and yeah, amazing.
Oh, thank you, Suzanne. Okay, I think we're done. Did you record that? Did you get that? Did you get all that on your end?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Good, because mine seemed to go a bit funny, so I might get you to share it with me if that's okay.
Yeah. So how do I share that then? Do I?
Are you able to save it to, I don't know, a Dropbox or a Drive, and then share a link or something?
I can show that. It says here share. What? Oh no, that's sharing screens. Yep.
Just when you hang up, what it'll do is it'll download the whole video, just in case mine has lost something. I don't know what happened there, but it'll download the video, and then it'll say that you'll get a file